voices.
Somebody's sitting in there.
There.
Oh my gosh.
We encountered some odd things in the building.
He goes, Kenny, did you hear that? The dining room door opened.
Oh, I got goosebumps.
Now here's where it's going to get interesting. And did Mary not say that this guy is big?
This is
Look
big.
at that silhouette.
Somebody's sitting in there.
There.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. That is exactly what we're looking for.
Look, there's somebody in
There's
there.
somebody. This week, we find ourselves in Payson, Arizona, a small town in the northern part of the state. A beautiful, historic town built on sawmills and founded in 1882. This is a town with a rich history. This place was cool. Friendly people, beautiful environment. Cowboys, Indians, gunfights, saloons and bars, and a super rich history. We took one look at this place, we were excited. I've never seen a small town with this many old historic buildings.
We are so lucky we found this cool place called the Oxbow Inn.
And we got the opportunity to investigate this. We got a personalized tour from the owner. And when we walked in there, you could feel the energy immediately.
The place is incredible.
This place is amazing. It's got a rich history. It's got paranormal activity, and we felt that the second we walked in. This building is a big place. It's got a saloon on one side. The other side is a hotel and a dining area. There's 9 original rooms upstairs, which has now been turned into a huge banquet area. Original brothel, which is in the back of the courtyard.
The moment I stepped in, I get goosebumps right away.
There was a strong energy in the building, no doubt about it. We experienced that. We met the owner, Mary, who gave us a personal tour and explained to us the paranormal activity that she's experienced while being in the Oxbow.
My name is Mary Hansen. I'm the manager of the Oxbow Saloon in Payson. I've been in Payson 26 years. I've been at the Oxbow a year ago, August. We encountered some odd things in the building. Well, first off, when we came in, it smelled terrible. And when you went to flick light switches on, it was a gamble on whether they would work or they wouldn't work. One day they'd work, the next day they wouldn't. The fire department came in and they went to drain the system in the riser room. There was 2 guys. One was checking it all clear on the building. The other one was working on the riser. He thought his friend was tapping him on the shoulder. He turned around to tell his friend to stop it, and instead there was nobody there. So he came flying through the dining room, kicked the original saloon doors open, and left the black mark on the door. He swears he got locked in that room.
Mary was explaining to us that a local fireman had come out to check the water valves. During his inspection of these valves, he felt something tug on his shirt. He immediately left that area and ran through the dining room to get out the French doors. He found the French doors to be locked, and he literally kicked the door open to escape. We were very excited when we heard the story about the fireman. And we went looking for him to hopefully get a personal interview of the experience that he had there. But unfortunately, this gentleman had not only left the fire department, he left the entire state of Arizona.
My name is Kenny Durkin. I belong to the Oxbow Outfits and the Payson Petticoats from here up in Payson, Arizona. I have had at least one experience in here personally. The bartender was behind the bar. This is after closing hours. The bartender was in the bar doing his usual cleanup, straightening up. Mary and I sat on the sofa. Nothing else is going on in this whole place. She goes, "Kenny, did you hear that? The dining room door opened." I said, "Oh, I didn't, Mary." And then within the minute, a breeze commonly went by me. So I thought it was a bartender coming behind me to tell Mary something. I quickly took a look and there was nobody there and the breeze was totally gone. She goes, "There you go, Kenny. There's your breeze." That meant somebody just walked by you as one of the ghosts, spirits, whatever you want to call it.
You can tell in this building, everybody that walks in here has the same feeling in the same place. Whether it's guests, staff, it's always around the staircase or underneath the stairs. You know something's there with you. People say, "You go down there alone?" I'm like, "I'm never alone down there, are you kidding?" For the first 4 or 5 months, you could walk in this building at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then by 6 o'clock, if you walked back in, it had a totally different feel and a totally different odor. We started getting a lot of lavender and roses. Lavender and roses would follow you everywhere.
I've been coming to the Oxbow approximately a year. The rumor has it that one of the spirits here wears lavender. I have smelled that on occasions, probably 10 times or more. You just sit in here and just this lavender smells. Like an airbrush through, like somebody's walked through, like this where the bar's closed and there's nobody here. So it isn't like a customer came in and was wearing that scent. Over here on the bar, they were prepping the cake for the manager's daughter to blow out the candles. There was a lady, who was a friend of theirs, she's an older lady. She actually was with the camera. It wasn't with a phone camera, it was an actual digital camera. She had been taking pictures in here. They were getting ready to take a picture of the kid blowing out the candles, so she's just sitting there snapping pictures, and she was going back through the pictures later. She seen this one image. She was pretty like, "Oh my God, you got to see this picture."
I believe that the one picture that we have is the lady in lavender and roses. I remember the first time we smelled the lavender and roses. She's become more powerful, less scared, wouldn't be a better way. When you would smell the rotten smell, you can't find her anywhere. When anything gets negative in this building, the rotten smell becomes way predominant over the lavender and roses. It's almost like she hides. There's been 3 psychics that have passed through. We came through here and every one of them calls this smell the collector. They all seem to agree that he lives underneath the stairs and that when there were hookers here, he was what we would allocate to being a pimp at this point. So whenever the money was down, and they all say they hear the same thing, they hear him yell, "Where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the money?" We have decided that that guy is the worst part of this whole building. Down here, they would get food, mail, whatever, from Pony Express. And out in the back building was hookers, so we were a full service. Oh yeah, we were full service for years. This is our dining room, and this is a fireman's boot print.
Because we're going to set up some random motion detectors in each of the rooms and see if we get any of them to go off tonight. And if we do, obviously that's a great indication, especially if we're not in that room, that something's going on above and beyond the normal. As Mary took us through the dining room and into the back hallways where they were remodeling and putting in a new kitchen, the energy again changed. The farther we went back, the heavier it got.
It's very thick.
Very thick. It was definitely an energy and an experience you could not deny was there. Wow, this room has a completely different feel to it.
Feels heavy.
Feels heavy, feels harder to breathe. Yeah, this has got a completely different feel than the room we just walked out of. Do you notice that as you're doing remodeling, that the activity picks up? Because normally we've found, historically, and from the many, many places that we've investigated, that that's a common occurrence, is that when anytime change is being done or remodeling is happening, that usually the paranormal occurrence increases. Have you found that
They
happens here?
hate renovation or they hate
Right.
changes.
Where you're standing hasn't been open in 17 years.
There was a strong energy in the building, no doubt about it, and we experienced that right off the bat.
The one guy was working on it, draining down the system for me and closing the main valve, and he says somebody was tapping him on the shoulder. He turned around and nobody was there. His buddy was still clearing the building, So he went flying out, and he said the doors locked him in, so that's the boot print.
So he kicked the door
By the
off
time I
and got
got here,
himself
he
up.
goes, "I'm so sorry." Because I turned around, nobody was there. I launched through that dining room. I hit those doors 100 miles an hour, and I was locked in.
Could also, investigate over here.
Yeah, we should do some EVPs in here. We should bring the portal box in here. Most paranormal investigators use what's called a spirit box. This particular device right here is a spirit box. What it does is it very quickly scans radio stations, never stopping on one, but continuing to flow through. Spirits can use these to speak through. The problem is they're hard to hear. They're staticky. Hearing the actual responses from them is very difficult. So what we use is the portal to attach to the spirit box. What it does is it takes out that radio scanning, the hissing sounds, the noises that make the responses difficult to hear. When this spirit box is plugged into the portal, it's almost silent, not completely, but almost silent until they speak. And then their voice comes through loud and clear, allowing us to hear the reaction from them without the background noise of the spirit box.
Could also, investigate over here.
Yeah, we should do some EVPs in here. We should bring the portal box in here. We should use the thermal in here.
Thermal is a perfect idea too.
I agree. All in all, we're feeling real good about this place. So we regrouped. We put a plan together about what equipment we were going to put where, what cameras, variety of equipment in the areas that Mary had identified. So where are we going next?
Want to go upstairs?
Yes, we will.
Check that out.
When we went upstairs and they called it Red Room,
Which was the original old 9 hotel rooms. But the energy going up that stairs was definitely something unique, and you could feel the change in the atmosphere as we went up there.
Freaky.
It was very freaky. And the feeling I got is that the presence that was in that room didn't end where the room ended. It continued outside. That was the original brothel that was used back in the 1800s, early 1900s.
there's one room that nobody are not allowed.
That was room 5, and Mary explained to us that 90% of the activity happened in room 5. Room 5 was locked, and of course, hearing the stories about what Mary was explaining was going on in there piqued our interest. So after a little convincing, we got her to let us in. When she opened the door, it had a very strange feel to it. It was old. The building, you could tell by the lumber that was used in its construction, this wasn't something that was built 20, 30 years ago. This was a building that had been around for a long time, and the presence and the energy that was in there, I also think was around for a long time. The second we walked into this room, the first thought that crossed my mind was this was a perfect opportunity to try out our FLIR thermal camera. I knew that this was one area that device would come in very handy. The first thing we thought we'd try is an EVP. An EVP is electronic voice phenomenon. What that means is that the actual voice of the spirit shows up on the digital recorder and is normally not heard with our own ears. Are there any spirits in here? A car going by. Are there any spirits in here? Can you please say hi? So even when it happens, you won't hear it immediately. You will not hear it until you play back your audio recording. We finished our walkthrough with Mary, and I think that's where the real excitement began. We knew of hot spots within the building that we wanted to further investigate with other equipment. We felt energies in various portions of the building which needed further investigation. Mary, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for showing us this wonderful place. Sun obviously is going down, night's coming. We're going to do our investigation, and hopefully we'll be able to answer some of the questions that you were looking for tonight.
Well, I hope so. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary.
See you in the morning.
All right.
Coming up next.
So the first thing I think we should do before we break out any other equipment is I would love to do a walkthrough of this entire place with the FLIR. What is that?
Somebody's sitting in there.
It looks like it.
What is that?
After doing a thorough walkthrough of the Oxbow, the crew sets their equipment and gets ready to begin with the investigation.
All right, we've got the 4 DVR cameras set up, covering the majority of the spots that had activity that Mary talked about, so we're good there. We will have our night vision, our full spectrum, and our recording devices along with the EMF on our handhelds. I think we should set a couple of motion detectors where the DVR cameras can catch it in case it goes off, and we'll set a shadow detector upstairs with the alarm. That way if it goes off, we'll know something's going on up there as well. So I think we should go through right now, just set the motion detectors in, and then start our investigation. We're gonna put it on chime. On. All right, I believe that's functioning. You know what? Do a test as he's walked through it. Perfect. Okay, perfect. Let's go set these last 2, and we're good to go. All right, so we've got one here. So if we're not up here, we'll know if that triggers. It's on the DVR camera, so we'll be able to know. And let's go set these last 2. All right, so let's just place this one last, and then let's start. I'm gonna put this one in here. Camera's over there. Let's set it. Let's set it right here. So the first thing I think we should do before we break out any other equipment is I would love to do a walkthrough of this entire place with the FLIR. Sound good? All right, let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna start. We're gonna walk through the entire building with the FLIR. The FLIR camera, and FLIR is a brand name who makes the camera. It's actually a thermal imaging camera. So what this camera does is it takes a picture of the environment, but not like a normal camera does. Now, as you know, this thing does not work off of imagery or light. It works off of heat. So the colors that you're seeing on here, the white, the red, the orange, are all higher temperatures than the lower temperatures of the purple. So the lower temperatures, obviously, if we capture a figure, there's not going to be body heat. Like if I show you or an actual human body, you can see the colors. You can see his hand is white and red heat. It's body heat. So if we get something that falls in the green to the purple, there's no body heat. It's room temperature or lower. So those are kind of what we're looking for. We use the FLIR for paranormal. This is a perfect tool for the paranormal investigator because what it does is it allows you to see things that your human eye wouldn't necessarily be able to see, and it will allow us to pick up human body shapes through temperature. So now this device creates an image of the room we're looking at in temperature. Okay, so let's walk through and see what we can catch.
Oops.
What is that?
Okay, what is that? Okay, there's some.
Is there a picture there? It looks like a photo.
Okay, you scared me. Holy crap.
Yeah. The thermal camera is a wonderful tool, but it takes some amount of skill to operate it. There's times that our own physical body heat can reflect off surfaces. Okay, this is one of the rooms that I have high hopes for.
Give a second in the stairs.
Right there. Right now it's clear. Can I go upstairs?
Sure.
Stay right here. Pause. I think we're good up here with this. All right, do you want to scan outside with this, or do you want to go to the next step in here?
Let's go to one of the rooms.
All right, let me just scan the courtyard real quick. That's it.
It looked like
Somebody's sitting in there.
Coming up next.
Somebody's sitting in there.
It looks like it. We're gonna use the skeletal mapper to see if we can.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, that is exactly what we're looking for.
Scanning the Oxbow with a thermal camera, the team seems to have captured a figure sitting outside.
All right, let me just scan the courtyard real quick. What do you see? You got the big screen.
Somebody's sitting in there.
It looks like it. So when we were scanning the courtyard with the thermal camera, we noticed something odd sitting in one of the chairs. And the image that appeared on the FLIR really looked like someone sitting in that particular chair. Before you advance, let us come down. Okay, hold on, I need to take the stairs. Okay, I want to focus back on that chair.
Don't leave me.
I won't leave you. Where's that chair? Where did that chair go?
It's right there.
That's funny. And I don't see it now. As we rounded the steps, repointed the thermal camera back at the area where it was sitting. It was no longer there.
Disappeared.
It had disappeared. Let me know if you see it. It's gone. But that's typical of paranormal. There are times you catch stuff, there's times you don't. Could it have disappeared into room 5? That was the next place we were going to go look.
Give me that lock. I'll put it over here so we know.
Perfect, thank you. Well, we got one lonely chair in there. So we entered room 5, and we used the thermal camera to scan the entire room. There was no figure in that room. But that's the way paranormal works. Sometimes you catch things, sometimes you don't. Maybe he was just afraid to be filmed. See if we can get him talking. So we scanned the entire place with the FLIR. So now it was time to bust out another piece of equipment, the skeletal mapper.
Coming up next.
Okay, so what this system does is it'll actually map 25 points of the skeletal system of the human body. The infrared system will catch things the human eye won't, and if it catches an apparition, it'll map it out in that grid system, very similar to what you're seeing on the screen. There.
Oh my gosh.
That is exactly what we're looking for.
Look, there's somebody in
There's
there.
somebody in front of that chair.
After using the thermal camera, the crew is ready to try a new tool, the skeletal mapper.
Okay, so what this system does is it uses an actual camera that's used in the Xbox system, the Xbox One S, I believe. And it uses infrared grid system. And that grid system detects human bodies. And it's used for interactive play, used in the Xbox system. And then it'll actually map 25 points of the skeletal system of the human body right up to the head. As you can see, the head's just a line. But it physically maps out the skeletal system. Well, we modified this to be used for paranormal activity because the infrared system will catch things the human eye won't, and if it catches an apparition or even a human body figure, it'll map it out in that grid system, very similar to what you're seeing on the screen, even though you may not be able to see it with your eyes, and allows us to pinpoint if something's there.
Yeah, touch your head. Perfect.
Hold your arms out.
We're gonna check out this room. Mary said this room had a lot of activity, and I can feel that. I'm sure you can too. We're gonna use the skeletal mapper to see if we can. Did you see that? When we turned on the skeletal mapper, one of the first things we noticed were black orbs shooting across the screen. And not only across, but in a direction toward the chair. Now, normally orbs in the paranormal field are usually energy of one shape or a form, whether it be paranormal energy or natural energy. But we instantly noticed on the skeletal mapper that these black masses of energy were moving across the room and in the direction of the bar stools. You just shoot across the screen, and that's about the second one I've seen since we turned this on. So I'm just going to slowly scan across. Keep your eye open for those. And keep your eye open for anything that maps out in a stick figure. Do you see the one just go up the stairs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any stick figures, but we definitely got some. The system is designed to map out the human body, and even if there is no actual human body, because of the software that this camera uses, and it uses infrared grid system. There goes another one.
Right there. Oh, it's in the chair. It goes over here and then goes. It's right there.
There.
Oh my gosh!
Okay. That is exactly what we're looking for.
Look, there's somebody in
There's
there.
somebody in front of that chair.
Coming up next.
Okay, now here's where it's going to get interesting, because I'm going to go over there.
Here, he's got his hands on your hair. I am losing my mind right now.
Within seconds of turning on the skeletal mapper, the team could not believe what they found.
There.
Oh my gosh!
Okay. That is exactly what we're looking for.
Look, there's somebody in
There's
there.
somebody in front of that chair. So we finished our walkthrough with Mary. We figured out the areas we wanted to investigate. We set up our equipment. We started using the skeletal mapper, and we couldn't believe what we found. There.
Oh my gosh!
Okay. That is exactly what we're looking for.
Look, there's somebody in
There's
there.
somebody in front
It's-
of that chair.
Here.
Okay, don't put your hand, keep your hand back. That is exactly what we're looking for.
Oh, I got goosebumps.
And did Mary not say that this guy is big?
This is
Look
big.
at that silhouette. So Mary was explaining to us about a spirit that she believed to be in the saloon, and she called him the Collector.
From the psychics that were here before, there's been 3 psychics that have passed through. We came through here, and every one of them calls this smell the Collector.
Look at the...
Darren, look, you
at
better
the,
look.
Okay, whoever's walking in front of the camera, please back up, because you'll take that image away.
He looks.
Look at the size of his legs. Could this be Mary's Collector? That man is a good-sized man.
He's
Okay,
sitting in that
He's
chair.
he's
On the
he
second
could be.
chair.
He could be sitting on the chair. Upon recognizing this figure on the skeletal mapper, I knew the next step was it had to be interacted with. Okay, now here's where it's going to get interesting, because I'm going to go over there. And I do not have my equipment with me, but let's do an experiment first. So you stay here, you keep an eye on that, and you let me know what he does. What I am going to ask him to do, and I'm saying him just because of the size, I'm going to ask him to reach his hand out to mine. You tell me if he does it.
Just be careful.
He's on the second chair, correct?
Correct. Second chair to your left.
I knew I had to walk over there. I crept around the bar up to where it was sitting. With every step I took, I could feel the energy in the room grow. I could feel the coldness come over my body. I could feel the hairs on my arm stand up on end. Okay, let me know when I map in.
Coming in. Slowly. Slowly though. Slowly. Keep going. Keep going. Slowly. Okay. Stop. And then.
Okay, I'm gonna reach my hand out to you because I know you're here. Please reach your hand towards mine.
Your hand is in his head.
So go down
He-
lower with your hand.
He was leaning in his right. Down. Down more. Right there. Okay, now he's touching you now.
Okay, I can feel it. I can feel my fingers tingling, and there's a very cold breeze here. The temperature was getting colder and colder on the parts of the body that it was touching me.
He's touching you now.
I can feel it on the top of my hand, like.
Actually, his elbow.
Okay, this would be the time to turn the portal on.
I am not going over there.
So I'm gonna stand up. Instantly, we knew we had captured something of significance. We are not here to hurt you. We just want to communicate.
Can you stand up?
Can you please stand up for me? I will lower my hand. I know that you are right here in front of me. Can you please stand up? You look very tall.
He's waving in here on his left hand.
Can you please stand up for me? There is a device right behind you. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to turn on. So as soon as we noticed this figure on the skeletal mapper, the first thing that went through my mind is, I need to turn the portal on. Let's communicate with it as well as see it. So let me try to do that.
He's still there. Keep going.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this device on.
He's trying to reach his left hand towards you.
I can feel it right here, right? I'm gonna sit next to him. Okay, you know what, Tree? I think maybe you should come over here too. You need to feel this. You need to feel the energy that is right here.
I don't want. Are you Bert?
We couldn't get the portal to work, yet it was working perfectly 10 minutes ago, until this guy showed up. It is freezing cold. Stay low to the ground, as low as you can go before you cross over.
Okay. Okay. Is he still there?
Next one. Yeah, sit on the next one.
This chair?
Next one. Yeah. Slowly. Yeah. There.
Oh,
Touch
you
your
touch your
hand.
face.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah, can you feel that cold
Yes.
air and that energy?
He's touching your face.
Okay, he's not allowing this to work. I don't know why, but he is not allowing this to work.
He keeps touching your face.
Sweetie, turn around and hand me that temperature gauge.
Dude, he's got his hands on your hair. I am losing my mind right now.
Oh, he's.
You can feel it. You can feel this. You can feel the energy.
What?
You touch his head and he moved. Now he's grabbing your hand.
Oh,
Grabbing Tony's hand.
Yeah. One? Yeah, he's right there.
Yeah, well, I can feel it.
my nose is cold.
Yeah, it is freezing right here, and I'm about to show that. The temperature in this room is 70 degrees. The temperature on this stool, the temperature,
Is he touching my belly?
Yes. Yeah, exactly your belly.
you can feel it, can't you?
Yeah. That's.
How much is the temperature?
64 degrees.
Okay.
I want to get this to work. Is he still touching you, Sharik?
Oh yeah. Is he in my hand?
Yes.
In my
Exactly
hand
in
now,
your
because
hand.
it's cold.
Yeah.
Right in your right hand.
Yeah, I can feel it. It is freezing here. It feels like we're standing in front of a freezer.
Holy crap.
Yep. Every hair on my arm is standing
Yeah,
straight
I
up.
have goosebumps.
We're getting interference we normally don't get. It could be.
It's cold in here. It's really
Hear that
cold.
interference?
Look, it disappeared. It's gone.
And the thing went silent.
And that thing went off too.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. The second he disappeared, the portal went blank and then popped right back on.
I was really, really terrified.
That's about the first time I've seen you terrified, and we've been through a lot of stuff.
I know.
Mary told us that she believed he lived under the stairs, which is funny because under the stairs is right behind where this bar stool is sitting.
We have decided that that guy is the worst part of this whole building.
We sent our crew up to the Red Room to place a 360 camera. If you log onto our website, you will be able to scroll around 360 degrees of the Red Room. You will be able to look around the entire room and hopefully maybe find some paranormal activity that we missed that night. We had a great time at the Oxbow, and we captured some amazing evidence. There.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. That is exactly what we're looking for.
Look, there's somebody in
There's
there.
somebody in front of that chair. This was a great investigation. What do you see? You got the big screen.
Somebody's sitting in there.
It looks like it.
She was pretty like, oh my God, you got to see this picture.
We have decided that that guy is the worst part of this whole building.
If you ever find yourself in Arizona, I highly recommend going to check out the Oxbow, if not for paranormal, just for a beer. Next week, we're taking you to the La Posada Hotel in Winslow, Arizona. Now, this is one haunted place.